Hey guys, welcome back to the Lovin Dubai Show podcast on this bright and beautiful Friday morning. The roads are thankfully not that busy because everyone stayed home, which is amazing. We spoke about Dubai government tackling water contamination issues. We also got the lowdown on the Dubai Salon tightening cancellation policies and what is fractional ownership, how you can own a property in Dubai for just a few hundred dirham.
We would really love if you can subscribe to the Lovin Dubai Show podcast, wherever you get your podcast from. Enjoy the show.
Good morning, Dubai. Welcome back to the Lovin Dubai Show, where we go through the top trending stories that everyone across the country is talking about. Today, I'm joined by a mosquito-bitten Hisham. That's huge.
Yeah, it is. It showed up the next day.
Yeah.
I was in rugby sevens. I had like football game, and it was so dark, and there's a lot of mosquitoes. Stopped putting water on myself, like ice.
Yeah.
And then like after the game, everything, there was only those like small bites. See those? But when I woke up the next day, I found those three gigantic, like therefore like 1, 2, 3, 4. So she was just like drawing on my hands. But yeah.
Are they super itchy or they just look bad?
If I scratch them, they get itchy. But if I leave them alone, it's your choice. You want to touch them? They'll be good. But
Do you can get, for some reason, I know a lot of people are getting bitten. Maybe I haven't been outside in a few days, but I seem to have, I'm not tasty to this variety of mosquito for some reason, but you can get like sprays and things.
Yeah. I didn't expect that like it will, there will be a lot of mosquitoes in this area, to be honest. Because it's like a football ground, so I didn't expect that there will be a lot of mosquitoes.
I think it's the season. Extra water doesn't help, and being outside at night where there's lots of lights is like a surefire recipe for mosquito success.
Yeah. It's because around it's all dark and only like 2 big spotlights for the stadium. So I think like they gather there, but they bite you without you noticing. You don't notice. You just feel the pain after, so. I'm
feeling the itch for you. Good morning, everyone. I think our Instagram is lagging a little bit, but we do go live in podcast, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, Instagram, all of the platforms, and we'll post the show later. We're going to be talking about our top stories today, which are the Dubai government tackles water contamination rumours. The next title, Dubai Salon tightens cancellation policy to secure stylists' pay. Dubai is the world's 6th most popular wedding destination. And also we're tackling how does fractional property ownership work with PRYPCO blocks. So our top story, Dubai government tackles water contamination rumours. This morning we wake up, the roads are clear. DXB has resumed normal operations yesterday afternoon following disruptions caused by unstable weather. If you're travelling, please note all terminals are now operating smoothly. And we must note the major cleanup operation by Dubai must be applauded. Like, how was it getting to work for you?
Fine. I felt nothing. From how smooth the process was, I felt like there was no need for us to stay at home yesterday.
Well, I think because the decision for everyone to stay at home, it means the tanks had space to just do their thing. Yeah. It was amazing. Like, there were street draining operations ongoing during the rain, meaning that the effects of the storm were well managed.
Yeah, I can see that. I live in a 13th floor, so I could see everything going on. I'm saying from how the process was so like smooth, you felt like there wasn't rain yesterday. So that was really appreciated like by the government and the manpower that worked so hard over the night to make the streets look like that today. To be honest, I think furthermore, like if something like that happens again, I think Dubai will be ready for it and it will look much better than how it looked previously.
I think there was less, I think there's 2 sides to that coin because there was less rain yesterday.
Yeah, obviously.
But we were all so, a word someone used, traumatized by the first time, but the government was so ready. Like, as you said, everyone could see on the streets, in a lot of cases, the drains were lifted and there was full-scale operation. So to everyone who was out there working yesterday while the rest of us were staying cozy, a huge thank you.
I'm sure that they decided to take this decision not based on like the streets, but I think the Dubai government thinks that safety of the citizens is the first important thing, and then whatever comes after comes after. So this is what they're preparing for.
And so true, because speaking of that, in terms of safety,
so the government issued comprehensive advice regarding the weather, including a very handy question and answer questionnaire. The question is, what if I need to leave the house for an urgent matter? So the answer is, make sure your road is open and avoid low-lying areas prone to flooding. So,
exactly. And they listed this whole Excel sheet, PDF of Q&As. What happens, if my electricity goes, if my lift breaks down, who do I call? All of the numbers needed.
Yes.
And there's also, it was a 5-page document. I'd really encourage you to look through it because it's very comprehensive. And there is a full page regarding water contamination queries in which they have answered. The first question on that page said, are there concerns about water contamination in the Emirate of Dubai due to rainwater? And the answer is, there have been no cases of water contamination in Dubai. However, as a precaution, we advise people to avoid accumulated rainwater and stagnant water, i.e. don't get the paddleboard out, don't get the inflatables out, don't go swimming in the rainwater. And we also strongly urge the public to seek official information for updates. Don't believe the rumours.
To be honest, it's really helpful because I had a look at that myself without looking at the news. It's very helpful, like even for me that I had to take screenshots of those numbers to be saved on my favorite pictures in my gallery, just for future purposes if I need them. So I think everything was well prepared, and to be honest, so Dubai is it's always surprising us each month by something specific, to be honest.
True, and put those numbers on your speed dial.
Yes.
I always think do you know who to call when, not worst case scenario, but certain case scenarios arise. For example, I had a major beehive on my apartment. Okay. And I spoke to on my balcony, not inside, that would be weird, outside on the balcony, and I spoke to maintenance, and they said, we don't want to remove it because if we remove it, you'll kill the bees. But they said the bees will move on after a month. But I'm kind of a bit laxy-daisy. I put things on the long finger. It was a month, 2 months. Huge beehive 4 months later, to the point that I wasn't on the balcony, it was dangerous.
It's theirs.
It's there, yeah, it was there, the bee's balcony.
Theirs.
And someone said Dubai municipality will come and they'll take it and they'll remove the bees safely
somewhere else,
which they did. And it was just a number that I called. They came for free. 4 men came out to my house.
Wow.
Made a new home for the bees, took them to a special place.
Oh my God.
No, I believe they did it in a safe way. Yeah. And there was some delicious honey left over, which is probably still rotting in a cupboard somewhere, but great.
It will be very organic honey, just very pure.
Yeah.
These such scenarios happen. Really helps a lot because sometimes you wouldn't know what to do, and us just being somewhere, we just call the maintenance. But we can move other ways, and throughout these numbers, we can move ourselves with just getting back to the maintenance. But I haven't faced any issue, to be honest. I've been here for almost 7 months, and I'm very comfortable. I haven't faced any issues regarding anything. So
they're handy numbers to have on speed dial. Let's jump into our next story. We're talking about a Dubai salon is tightening their cancellation policy to secure stylists' pay. So the owner of a Dubai salon is dishing out facts. Head case owner Alison Kyo made a short reel in which she shared on her Instagram announcing the salon was tightening up its cancellation policies. She said, if you cancel, we don't get paid. And she explained the reasoning, stating that if someone cancels within 24 hours, so their cancellation policy is cancel before 24 hours, absolutely fine. If you cancel within 24 hours of your appointment, then we might have to we will charge you a fee, because if you do it in that 24-hour block, it doesn't really allow us new time to get a new customer in. And then that affects each individual's hairstylist's salary amount at the end of the month, because like a PT, they don't have a set salary. It's all commission based.
Yes.
So if you lose that person, then you're not getting paid the same. And it opened up an interesting debate, let me tell you.
It's very it's very hard for as a customer when you have to cancel and you hear sometimes people telling you have to pay a certain amount, or we need a percentage of the deposit you paid, because as you said, it's important if you have any emergency regarding anything. I know emergency comes times out of your hand, but you have to put yourself in their shoe as well, because they have a monthly base they know that they're going to get their income from. This hour costs money, so I totally agree with the numbers that's just mentioned over there. You know,
It's interesting because I totally agree with the salon owner, and I only know because I look at restaurants as well, and I've heard that people will book 3 or 4 restaurants. This is just like a rumor chat, but like they'll book 3 or 4 restaurants and then on the evening just choose the one they want to go to with their friends. At the same time, and then like if you're booking for a group of 10, like feel out and that affects the restaurant's bottom line so much. And I have cancelled on a hair salon last minute. I won't lie to you and say, but I feel so much guilt about it, and I know that there's cancellation policies, and I'm more than happy to pay. It's like maybe it's less than 10% if they charge, because you truly understand that this is a person's commission, and you're messing with them. And even if my reasoning is strong, you have to understand how businesses work, and in some cases, it's like it's same with if you have a individual gym PT and you decide willy-nilly to cancel on them, it's fair enough if they have a cancellation policy in place.
I totally agree, because jobs that are commission-based, it's way different than like basic salary you're getting every month. So we appreciate that. So guys, just always try to cancel as soon as you can before like the day of your appointment. And like about your friends are booking for,
not my friends, but I've heard of people who do that type of situation.
The people who like books 4 restaurants on the same night and just choose one, that's very difficult, to be honest.
I like that we're on the same page, but the comments, some people are saying, why don't you just tag the clients who have this type of behavior and then don't allow them into future bookings? And then they say, why would you burden the staff? The same would apply for cancellations in doctors, dentistry, handyman, car service. Why is this any different? Any business fails if someone fails to show up. Interesting, like a doctor, dentist, no, but like a restaurant, hair salon, personal trainer, yes. Why is that the case?
Well, because I see it from my side, if I had 2 emergencies after each other, so I booked with you today the Lovin show, and I got an emergency. And I said 2 days after I'll be in Casey. And then after 2 days, I booked another different emergency. So if that's the people how they want to work it out, so you will tell me, no, you can't come in here again. But I really had emergencies. So in my opinion, I disagree with that, because sometimes people just will be forced into emergency situation that they'll have to cancel the last minute. But yeah, just I always say, like, give a second chance for the customer.
Give a second chance. I think a clear cancellation policy, if it's laid out at the time of booking, I think it's fair, because I think sometimes we have emergencies, but sometimes things pop up. Like when I've cancelled, it may not be an emergency to you, but maybe it was like, I have to actually work, right? And when you actually have to work, it's not an emergency. No one's dying, but obviously it's something I can't really get out of. So, but I think you have to acknowledge that you have paid for someone's time, and it's a professional business and a professional service, and then you have to acknowledge that. And
on the other hand, sometimes you would have to wait for like days and postpone things based on the time of the hair salon. Like for example, myself, like for me, it doesn't matter. But for example, I have the hair salons for animals, like where they do their nails and that. I was booking for my dog. The vet is booked till the 18th. So sometimes you'd have to wait. Like for me, sometimes because us as men, we just go to the barber. It's different than women. Sometimes you have to book. But sometimes I'm sure that you had to wait for like 24 hours or 48 hours because the day's booked all it, right? So as the customer can somehow be nice to the client's always good, like to the customer, client, the both are the same. Yeah. So I'm saying that when the customer is like waits for the place, sometimes the place has to wait for the customer. So it's
give and take.
It's give and take. So
and you can only imagine that I think businesses only put this in place when they've been bitten. You're not it's rare that especially for a small business, well known in the community, I don't think they're just putting in a strict cancellation for the fun. They're doing it because people have done this regularly and they're kind of forced into it. So it is give and take on the customer, and you're offering customer service, but I think the customer also has to appreciate the service being given.
Yeah, I think that I totally agree with you. And you can see that in some restaurants when they say like, oh, you'd have to send us a deposit, you'd have someone come pay a deposit, you'd have to pay like a 10%, 15%, 50%. Those are the type of people that, you know, that they have a lot of people canceling based on like the timeline.
My friends. I'm joking. Something we wouldn't be canceling, jumping into the next story, we're talking about weddings and weddings in Dubai. Dubai has been listed as the world's 6th most popular wedding destination. So sweethearts are flocking to Dubai for destination weddings. A study has revealed top global hotspots for 2024 nuptials, and Dubai has made the list, scoring an impressive 7.31 out of 10. Not surprisingly, the number 1 spot went to Tuscany, with Bali holding the 2nd position.
Italy dominates with Lake Como ranking at number 3. Santorini secures the 4th place. Ibiza claims the 5th spot. Oh, Ibiza is so nice.
Ibiza is, well, I think there's 2 sides to be the party side and then like the really gorgeous.
It's just that maybe I'm in love with Spain. All of Spain, like Madrid, Barcelona, Ibiza, everything. That's why I like. But what about like the most affordable countries?
It's funny that you say that because the guys who made the list, the name is Bounce. Unsurprisingly, they made a list documenting the most affordable wedding destinations in the world, and Dubai didn't make that list. But interesting that you ask because you yourself are planning.
I hope I get married this year. So you know, if anyone wants to sponsor my wedding, I'm down. I'll do anything for you. And if it's in the first 6 countries, top 6 countries, I'm so down.
You'll do anything.
I'll do anything. I can work for you for. Is
it a pricey affair? Is it stressful? Like, are you already looking at prices?
I'm not really looking at prices right now, but my wedding is so hectic because me and my partner, her family and my family. Each of us is in a different separate country, and we really haven't discussed that in the future where we're gonna have the family.
Haven't discussed where you're gonna have it?
Where we have the wedding.
She's gotta know. You haven't discussed it, but she knows.
she has it in her mind, but she goes like, for me anywhere, you know. But you know, like girls, like when they see like demand pressure during this time, they just stay calm. I really appreciate that. But for me, you would have like go Egypt mainly because that's home. But also I want to do something here because like my friends and like we have some family here as well. So I may end up doing 2 weddings. Like, you know, a wedding and just like a small reception.
The main wedding would be in Egypt.
Yeah.
And then rather than getting people to fly over, you would do a second wedding here. That's very thoughtful.
Yeah,
I would probably just do 1 and then assume that people wouldn't fly. Like everyone come to my wedding in Ireland, you know.
But do you love the weddings to be like? Because like in different nations, it depends on like how the culture is. But in home, we would have the wedding approximately 300 people. But for me, I just say like 60 is good, guys. No, not money-wise, I swear. But like a 60 is very good.
Are you allowed to, do you make that decision or is it a family decision?
No, it's of course, because you would have to invite all the families. And then your parents will go like, oh, I can't tell this and not tell this, so I have to tell this. And I can't tell this, but I have to tell this. So you find up a whole line ending of like half of the people you don't know. But for me, it's fine. But
how many siblings are you? Because usually the first sibling, the first son and daughter, maybe the second, maybe the third, all of the aunties, uncles and cousins go to those weddings.
Yeah.
And then by the time it trickles down to the babies, then there's less pressure and they can kind of quietly do what they want.
Yeah. From my side, I have only 1 sister. And from my dad, I have an uncle. And from my mom, I have an aunt. So it's 1 here, 1 here.
Okay.
It should be down, but it's about like the connections. My dad's friends at work, my mother's friends at work, my sister's friends, her friends, university friends,
your
school
sister's friends go to your wedding?
Yeah, my friends went to her wedding, and like I had like 15 people. She gives the amount but I'm last place, you know, not really a priority.
That's only 1 or 2.
Well, she gave me 10. I had like 5 coming because my circle is very tight. But what kind of like amount do you like in a show?
Well, I'm looking here at the most affordable wedding destinations. I think you mentioned culture. So for you, a typical wedding would be 300 in Egypt.
But personally, I would go for I like 60 because I don't think I know 200
But a
people.
typical wedding.
For me, I'll go 60. What about you?
Well, a typical Irish wedding, I think between the 150 and 200 mark. I think with COVID and life changing and life decisions changing. I think people are making very different decisions. Typical 150, 200. For me, so small.
Yeah.
Small.
Yeah.
Just the people that really matter. Right?
Yeah.
Anyway, and we shall be doing it in Greece because I know that's the question you all were asking. What is the world's most affordable wedding destination? Greece, followed by Cyprus, Spain, France, and then Mexico. Okay, speaking of saving money, we're going to jump into a very interesting segment. We're talking about property and fractional ownership in Dubai. We'll be joined by PRYPCO blocks right after this break. Stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to the Lovin Dubai show. Today's guest is Robert Farquhar, Senior Executive Officer at PRYPCO Blocks, to unveil the innovative concept of fractional property ownership. We're here to talk about what that means and why is it attractive to investors here and abroad. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being here on this beautiful, fresh and dry Friday morning.
Happy to be here. And yeah, honestly, lovely morning.
It is. Just want to start off with you. What is PRYPCO Blocks?
So PRYPCO Blocks is a way for investors to get into the real estate market without having to have the funds to purchase an entire property. So we source properties in the market, we break them down into little blocks, and then we sell those blocks on to people. Now, if you own 10% of a property, you get 10% of the returns. So you can get the returns of real estate without having to have all the funds up front.
Okay, sounds easy. So it sounds like people without big funds to buy a property, we can get in. So this is essentially fractional ownership, which I hadn't heard of until this week, but I compare it to a timeshare, for example. So how does it differ to what a timeshare is?
So it's a question we get asked all the time. So timeshares where you invest in a property and you can go and see it. So in the UK, obviously it was very common to have timeshares in Spain. You would head over and you would spend a bit of time over there. The way that we do this is you don't actually stay in that property. This is purely for investment purposes. So these are people that just want to see that return. So it's just a way, instead of putting your money in the bank and seeing interest come through, putting in stocks and shares, you can put it in real estate. And we all know that real estate is historically one of the best performing assets.
And like investing wise, is it like rental or like it will be like resaled?
So it's both. And that's the beauty of it. Most of the questions I get, I always just put back to, if you bought a property yourself and you held the whole property, how would it work? You'd get the rental and you'd get the resale, the capital appreciation. It works in exactly the same manner here. You just have a smaller piece of it. So rental, we give back. So we manage the property. So we give that rental dividends back to the investors on a monthly basis. Now, at the end of the investment period, we then give back the entire sale proceeds and they get their capital appreciation on top of it.
How does the managing of it work? Like, who makes the decisions? Like, what are the key concerns someone might have going into this?
So mainly the concerns that we get are, is my money safe? So I'll answer that one straight off the bat because it's a nice, easy one. So we are regulated by the DFSA. So we adhere to all regulations they have, all relevant laws. We also adhere to all client money regulations. So we have separate accounts. So one bank account, all of our client money goes into, and that's completely separate to all of our operational funds. So if anything goes wrong, completely blocked off, they get all of their money. Now, that means their funds are safe. Then when they purchase the property...
the funds that they add in is sitting in that bank account always?
Not always. We use it to then purchase the property, and then it all just funds back through there. But as soon as we use it to purchase that property, they then own that property. So we create a special purpose vehicle, which is just a company in the DIFC. And then we have those investors, owners of that company. That company is the one that then purchases the property. Now, the reason we do it like this is it gives the investors more legal comfort. It also gets it so we can have multiple investors, because we know we can only have 4 people on a title deed in normal circumstances, which, fractionally it's good if you want just 4. Whereas we want hundreds. So we have hundreds and hundreds of investors purchase a property. Now, to your point on how it's managed, it's not practical to have all of those people having input in, I want it to be managed through this agency or short term or long term. So we take the call on that. So the view is, we are specialists in this market. We know how to get best returns on that property. So the sourcing of them, we choose the best properties. We do the analysis on them. We give all of that information to the investors, and then they choose whether they want to invest and how much they want to invest.
So interesting.
I just want to know, how can someone be an investor? And also, like, just want to make this clear for myself. So, if there's an apartment, how many people can invest in one apartment?
What's the max?
As many as you want. So we break it down to 100 blocks. 100 dirhams per block.
Oh, okay.
So whatever the price is, divide it by 100, and then that would be the maximum number.
Ooh. What a great tagline, become a property owner in Dubai for 100 dirham. But I have no doubt that this is, you have that already, right?
It's slightly more. It's 2,000 dirhams is the minimum.
Okay.
All right. Okay.
And
you own 20 blocks.
The reason that we do that is we want people to see returns on the back of it. Now, obviously, the returns are as a percentage.
Yes.
Now, when you have a 2 million dirham property and you get 10% returns, it's very attractive because you get a nice amount of actual dirhams in your account. Now, when you have 100 dirhams and you get 10% of it over the entire life cycle, yeah, it's still 10%, but actual dirhams in your wallet, it's not a lot. So we say, you put in a little more because percentage-wise it's good, but you actually want to see that money in your pocket.
PRYPCO is a startup. Have you seen this work in markets abroad, or is this a new concept that you've created for Dubai?
So it actually works incredibly well in India. India's very on this. So they do it slightly differently though. They do it on commercial properties. We only do residential. Dubai residential real estate is booming. We know that. So that's where we focus. But the concept as a whole works tried and tested for many years.
And how can someone be an investor? Like me, myself, anyone wants to apply.
Super simple.
Yeah.
So you just go to our website, prypco.com/blocks. You then have to do a small KYC because, like I said, we're regulated. All of our investors, we have to know who they are. So this is passport, proof of address. We do a live Face ID. It's all integrated into the platform. As soon as that gets approved, which is almost always instantaneous, you can then become an investor. You just choose the property that you want to invest in, choose how much, buy.
You can choose the property as well.
Oh yeah, 100%, yeah.
I just thought it was kind of, you go all in. And who are you seeing more interest from? Is it kind of Dubai residents, or do you think that this is attractive for people abroad who want to kind of get their foot in?
It's throughout the world. So we see about 50-50. Half come from Dubai and half rest of world. Now, as that goes on, as we build up and as we grow, we'll see a more mature split. But at the moment, it's about half and half, which is very promising for me because people in Dubai, they know that Dubai real estate is great. Like investing in Dubai real estate,
100%.
Excellent returns. However, the really interesting thing for me is the amount of people from outside of Dubai. So when we start going to other countries, and they're investing in, I think that's the biggest opportunity for me because here we love it. But being able to sell the concepts of Dubai real estate abroad so easily because we're not a real estate broker. We don't have a sales team that are going to see clients, taking them out for lunch and selling property. It's just the concepts. It's just data-driven results. So, historically, this is how this building has performed. This is how we project it to perform over the next 5 years. This is what you can expect. And that's it. People are still investing on that information. Yes. They're very, very keen on Dubai.
It's very good because when you have it inside your mind, if you just invest for example, 50,000, and then after a year you would see that and just get the total money and just invest the total money you have in another, with the same, in a different apartment. Like, for example, you get like another 100 grand, so you have 200 grand, and then another year, like you get like 10% or 20% out of it, and you invest. So it's like money keeps going up, well, literally without you doing anything.
And honestly, that's one of the true forms of passive income in this sense, because you put your money in. We recommend a 5-year cycle for investment because when you own a property, 5 years is generally how long you want to keep it for.
Yeah.
It cuts off all the costs of purchase and whatnot, and you start seeing pure returns off the back of it.
Can you explain to me why exactly 5 years? And even though I was having looking at the website here, based on the calculation, that is super cool, by the way. You get to choose like the amount that you want to invest in, and it will just give you the amount of investment and total rent income and value in the next year. And also, you mentioned like the top is 5 years. So I just want to know from your professional experience, why 5 years is the good amount to hold a property?
And this comes from real estate investment as a whole. So if you buy in the first year, we know the majority are made up by fees. So if I were to offer you a property now with 6% net yield, it's a solid investment for a yield perspective. Now, upon purchasing that property, you've got 4% DLD fees, you've got 2% broker fees. That 6% is gone already. So when you look at the overall life cycle of the property and how much you totally expect to get in, you want as many years of effectively fee-free management as you can. So first fee, heavily intensive. Then your profit starts going up quite a lot as it goes on. Now 5 years is at the point that you then make a decision. You take that money back and you can reinvest it, or you then say, I want to keep it rolling. Now, the reinvestment part is a prudent choice. Unless you've got an incredibly well-performing asset, which you can then just keep on rolling, you want to say, I'm going to take that money back and I'm going to spread it out a little bit. I'm going to diversify. So rather than have all of my money in this one property, I've made 50, 60, 70% return over this period. I'm now going to split it in half and I'm going to put it in 2 properties. So.
Making property ownership accessible to the masses, so interesting. What do you have in store in terms of expansion plans in future?
So we are moving into other countries. As you'd expect, the concept is great and we want to push it. So we're looking at Saudi at the moment. We were speaking to the regulators fairly recently over there. They're just realistically bringing this crowdfunding into light. So those conversations are a lot more formative, and we're one of the first that are looking at them to have a specific crowdfunding license. There are a couple of guys that have done other licenses over there, but we really want to stay true to what we're doing, which is retail investment, helping individuals own a property.
There you go. Fractional property ownership with PRYPCO. Thank you so much for joining us, Robert. We really appreciate your time on this Friday morning. And that brings us to the end of the show. We'll be back on Monday morning, same time, same place. Bye-bye from me.
Goodbye.
Thank you.